Hey, what's up everyone? So in this video, I'm going to show you how to assemble the IKEA Bekant Desk, and the process is fairly simple. So first, let's take a look at the items that we get in the packaging, and then we'll get started with the assembly process. So in the box, you get these two legs, which are quite heavy. The next item that we have are these flat resting things. So this is something that will be resting on the ground, and the legs that I showed before will be mounted on this. So these are again two in number, and in this we have all the attachments and the screws. You also get this Allen key, which is required for tightening the screws. This is the mesh which will be like fitting under your table, and then it will conceal all of the wiring that you have for your desktop or maybe your laptop. And then the final item that we have here is the frame. So this is the frame on which your tabletop would sit. So in case if you're buying the Bekant desk, then you get the tabletop with it. If you're just buying the underframe, then you just get these parts, and you'll have to purchase the tabletop separately. Alright, so before we actually get started with the assembly process, let me show you the different attachments that we have here. So we have these two Allen keys, then there are four set of screws. You've got two medium size screws, then we have these bolt like screws which are four in number, and then these are the plugs which will be required to fix the underframe. And then again we have those plastic plugs with those push pin like things. We have the Z brackets which are four in number, and this is an additional thing. I'm not sure what this is, but we'll take a look at the manual to understand what this is. So let's get started now. So the first thing that we'll be getting ready is the base of the table. So that's the flat thing which will be on the floor, and then we have this bar which is like the bar for the table. And if you notice here, there are two holes which we need to match with this thing. And then we'll be pushing these bolts from here. So for each leg there are two bolts that you need to screw in. So for the initial bit of tightening, you can do it with your hands, and for the final bit you can use this Allen key. Yeah, so that's done. Just ensure that it's tight and secure because you don't want a wobbly table later on. Alright, so now similarly we'll get the other leg assembled as well. Now here again, for the last bit of tightening, we'll use the Allen key. And yeah, just ensure that it's firm and tight. Alright, so now that we've got both the legs ready, it's time to put the frame on top of this. And for getting this part fixed, we need to do a little trick, because the screws need to go from under into the legs of the table. So what I'm going to do here is place this pillow under this thing, so that we get a slightly elevated thing, and then we can push the screws from here. So here's the first leg, and what we will be doing is we'll be pushing this thing over here, and if you see, there are two anchor like things on this side which need to match with these two holes. And then we need to push this medium size screw in from the bottom. This thing is quite heavy, but let me show you the other side of this. So if you check from the other side, this is how the screw will go inside. So let me flip it again and tighten this thing. Yeah, so that's it for the first leg. Now we'll do the same process for the other one. So here again we'll be matching these anchor like things to the holes on the frame, and then we'll use the second screw and push it from the bottom, rather screw it from the bottom. So that's tight and secure as well. And this is how the frame looks so far. So we've got the frame attached to the legs of the table, and now we are left with the final bit of the assembly, which is attaching the actual wooden tabletop to this. So if you've purchased the entire set of Bekant and not just the underframe like I've done here, then you also get the tabletop with it, which has pre-drilled holes, and those can be like easily assembled. In my case, I don't have the Bekant tabletop, but I've got a tabletop separately from IKEA. So the instructions would be slightly different, but let me cover what you need to do in case you're using a Bekant tabletop which comes with pre-drilled holes. Yeah, so in that case, if you refer to the manual, you'll see that you need to place the tabletop under this thing, then you'll be placing this frame on top of it, and you need to attach these plugs. So these will go into this hole right here, and it will push into the tabletop which is under this thing. So these are like 6 in number, 1, 2, 3, and then we've got 3 on the other side. And once you've pushed that plug in, there's this bolt like thing which you need to push from here. So there's no need of using a hammer or something, because even if you put pressure by your thumb, it should go in easily. But you can use a soft hammer or something in case if it's tight, but don't go very hard, otherwise you'll end up breaking one of these plastic things. So let me get the tabletop that I have, and we'll see the remaining instructions. So here I have the different tabletop with me, and you can see that this also has holes, but they are not in line with the Bekant underframe. That's because I think it's supposed to be used with a different underframe. But here, as a makeshift measure, what you can do is drill holes for those 6 things, and then push the plug and this plastic bolt thing in. So you can make 6 holes and push this thing first, and then this goes in from here, and that will tightly secure the thing. But since I'm going to use this table for lighter things like a laptop and maybe as my study table, so I'll just be using this Z bracket that they have given, and we'll place these 4 Z brackets in the 4 corners, screw them in, and I think that should be okay. So when you're using a custom desk or a custom tabletop, it's quite essential to ensure that you're pushing the screws in at the right position. You don't want it to be misaligned, otherwise it will be misaligned with your table where you're keeping this desk. So just ensure that you have the thing right in the center of the tabletop. And now I'll keep this thing over here, and with a screwdriver I'll just push one screw in each of the Z brackets. So one screw is done. We'll do the same for the other side. Alright, so that's tight and secure as well, and now I'm just left with those 2 corners. So I'll pause the video here and I'll attach the Z brackets on those two corners as well. So I've got all of the Z brackets in place and they are tight and secure. And now we are left with the last bit of the assembly, which is attaching this mesh. And for doing that, if you had a Bekant tabletop, then it's fairly simple, because here again they have pre-drilled 6 holes for the mesh. And in that case, you basically need to push this thing in those holes first, and then once this is in, you'll be pushing the plug on top of it to make it tight and secure. But since we're using a custom tabletop, I'll be using a normal screw along with a washer, and I think that should keep the thing in place. So this is the kind of washer and screw setup that I'll be using to keep the mesh in place. So let me get this pushed in. So I've got one of those things in there, and now I'll get one more in this corner and maybe a few more, like I'll just keep it to a set of 4, and I think that should be fine. So that's how I've attached the mesh in an improvised way. And I'm keeping these two ends open because this will be easy to access the wires or push the wires under the mesh. So I think that's it for the setup part with our custom tabletop here. Like I mentioned during the assembly process, if you want more like supportive thing for this desk, then you should definitely make holes over here and then push the plugs provided with this. But if you're keeping light material on this tabletop, then I think the setup that I've done using those Z brackets along with the screws, I think that would suffice. So let me flip this over and we'll see how this thing looks. Alright, so before we flip the table over, let me show you the use case of this thing and the plastic thing that was there in the attachments. So this is a smaller Allen key which fits in over here, and then using this you can loosen the screw which is on the leg of the table, and once you loosen the screw you can adjust the height as per your preference and tighten this again to keep it at that particular height. So this mechanism is useful to increase or decrease the height of the table as per your preference. It's not an automated thing. You can do it only with this Allen key. So even if it's manual, it's a good thing to have. That being said, let's flip this now and we'll place it in a proper place. So this is how the IKEA Bekant looks once it's completely assembled, and I must say that I'm pretty impressed with the overall build quality and the looks of this thing because the legs give it that sturdiness it needs, and with this mesh you can easily organize all of the wires under the table so that you don't have any messy wires appearing on the ground. And one more thing that I would like to talk about is the color of this product. So currently you get this in two different colors. One is the white and the other one is the black that I have here. In my opinion, black with a white tabletop gives it that nice little contrast, and it'll give your desk an elegant look. But depending on your color preference, you can also go for the white one. So that's it for this one, guys. If you have any questions about the assembly process or the product itself, you can add those in the comment section below and I'll answer them as soon as possible. So thank you for watching this video and do subscribe to my channel.